Endless Rides here, and today I thought we'd try something different. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a story time, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And I guess to start it off right, the topic would be how and why we got the TW and the process and the struggles we had when we did get it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this type of video. If you do, definitely leave it in the comments. If there are some criticisms, obviously, leave them in the comments. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying something new. So I guess I'll start with how I found a TW. So it wasn't on YouTube, it wasn't online or anything. I had no clue that this bike existed until one day my dad and I strolled into Ride Now just to take a look at the bikes. And I saw this thing sitting there. I said, huh, that's kind of cool. So I sat on it and I was like, wow, it's kind of retro, right? Because the gauge cluster and everything, it's really a boxy design. And so someone came up to me and was like, oh, hey, you like it? I was like, yeah, what is it? And he said it's a Yamaha TW200. And to that, and at that point, those words were foreign to me. They did not mean anything to me like they do right now. So, with that information, I went home and I typed into my little search bar, Yamaha TW200, and I fell in love. You know, watching YouTubers like T-Dub's Kid. I think he was the first video I watched, like, the top 5 things to know before you buy a TW, right? So I watched that, I watched a bunch of Till Death Doula Sport, and I fell in love with this bike. I started looking at pictures on like Instagram and things, and so back then, which really wasn't that long ago, I had my CRF 250R, and that was the bike I learned on, right? So that, as you could imagine, was pretty difficult. And we were also rebuilding our quad at the time, so my dad and I have never truly gone out riding together. So as I'm researching the TW and stuff, we finally get the quad back together. It was all fine and dandy. We go out for our first ride in Bulldog Canyon, and that was going smoothly until your boy here decided to whiskey throttle the bike off the side of the trail and throw the chain through the case. And as we were recovering the bike, I said, like, can we get the TW please? And 2-3 days after that, we went to our local shop, Nash Power Sports. And now, here's where I have to put a disclaimer. I'm not knocking or trying to make a nasty review on Nash Power Sports. It's just kind of a bad review, right? So, we went there, we looked around, and boom, there's a T-Dub there. And we're like, oh, hey, cool. So we're looking at it, and we tell one of the guys we're interested in it, and the guy hands us a paper. My dad's looking at it, okay, price of the bike, shop fees, and then he saw a 3-year warranty on there for, like, I don't know, a lot of money. And he's like, wait, that shouldn't be there. Why is there a 3-year warranty? Or he asked, what's that? And the guy said, oh, it's a 3-year warranty. And we're like, did we ask for a 3-year warranty? Like, come on, it's a freaking dirt bike. And so that was kind of the first red flag with Nash, is that they're trying to pin a 3-year warranty on us when we really don't want one, right? And so we get that off. Oh. So we get that off. You know, get all paperwork filed and stuff. And so it comes time to bring the bike home, right? And I'll give you a little bit of backstory on this one. 4-ish years ago, My dad was in a really bad motorcycle accident. He had a beautiful 2014 GSX-R 600 and 80 miles an hour down the freeway got into an accident because a truck lost control and then hit a car in every lane and boom, right into the HOV lane where he was. And he had no choice but to just let go and go flying. So he was pretty broken after that, but he's okay now, obviously. You've seen him riding with us, so thank God for that. But my dad's gonna ride this thing home, which he hasn't ridden a motorcycle in 4 years after his wreck, pretty much. And they tell us, oh, we have to charge the battery and we have to do our maintenance fee and all of that. So we're like, okay, well that A, took forever, and B, I'm all excited. I'm waiting at home. One of our neighbors gave me a ride home because I wasn't gonna wait at the dealership and ride on the back of the bike. But long story short, my dad is on the way home with the TW, and I'm waiting in the garage for him to get back. And he comes back, and he's, you know, fiddling down here with something. You know, I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, I lost the clutch. So, on the way home from the dealership with this 2020 Yamaha TW200, he loses the clutch, and we don't know why. Well, turns out, I'll show you here. Hopefully you can see it pretty good. It turns out that this boy right here, where the clutch routes and mounts to the engine, wasn't tightened properly. And this spring right here wasn't in the right spot. So, halfway home, the clutch cable pops out of its little holder, and you can't control the clutch anymore. So that was pretty alarming, right? That, for one, made us pretty angry because they charged us like $500 for a maintenance fee and a checkup, and they didn't even do their jobs correctly, you know? Like, you could have easily spotted that this clutch cable was loose as hell, right? And keep in mind, my dad's been riding bikes for a long time, pretty much his whole life. And imagine if that was a new rider on this bike, you know? New rider, never really ridden before, and the clutch cable pops out. If you don't know what to do, you're going down. Like, that's something that a new rider doesn't understand, or most new riders don't understand. That's cool. Come on. Dude, let's just watch some TV here. Let's see what's on the telly, huh? Just... I wish I had the skills to, like, put something on the screen. But, it's not working for some reason. Weird. Why would you dump a TV right here? Like, come on, of all places, you just put it right here in the middle of the road. I mean, it's not really a road, but whatever. Anyway, that was pretty dumb of Nash to do something like that. Not doing their jobs correctly, and yet they charged us for it. So yeah, that's that. And we really haven't had problems with the TW since. Except, I will tell you a funny story, which is kind of our fault. Dad. We adjusted the valves 300 miles, right? Just to do it, because, you know, even though it didn't need it, we did it anyway. That's better. Even though it didn't need it, we did it anyway. This is some pretty cool jumps. And on the rocker arm, there's a lock nut. And that lock nut's torque spec is 10 foot-pounds. Now it's this little 10 millimeter lock nut. And my dad's like, I think 10 pounds is a little much. So we adjust it and we tighten it to what we feel is comfortable. Alright, so a couple weeks maybe later, I'm riding down here with a friend. That's a truck, I don't want to go that way. I'm riding down here with a friend. He's on a little pit bike. And all of a sudden, out of this bike, I just hear a click, 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 click. Like, I know air-cooled engines are noisy, but something was wrong with it. And like, I'd go to get on the power, and it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't do that. It was just falling flat on its face. So we get home, and I took it back home, and I was like, yo, Dad, it's making this really awful noise. Like, we probably need to fix that. So I thought it was the timing chain, right? Because they tend to do that. And then we were like, no, what's the most recent thing we did? And the most recent thing we did was valve adjustment. So, God, I don't like that truck. So I open up, I'm trying to remember now, the exhaust valve, I believe it was. Oh yeah, it was the exhaust valve. And I take one look in there, and I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, what? I'll try and throw the video up on the screen. And the lock nut for the adjuster was gone. There was no lock nut, and the rocker arm moved up and down considerably. So that was pretty scary. So here I am with this brand new motorcycle with like 300 or 400 miles on it, and there's a nut somewhere in the engine. It's just gone, right? So that was pretty scary. But we opened up the it was the intake valve where the nut had come loose. But we open up the exhaust side and we can see it in there. So we grab a magnet, we go down in there, and we freaking grab it. Boy, was that scary. I'll tell you that. But after that, no problems with that. With the valves, torqued them. Torque your valves down to torque spec, because A, it can handle it, and B, you don't want that happening to you, because that was pretty scary. But yeah, that's all the issues with buying the TW, owning the TW that I've really ever had. And I've already talked about all the mods I've done to it, so I think here would be a good time to end the video, because there's there's nowhere else to go, and there's nothing else to talk about. So I'm going to leave this video here. If you enjoyed this type of video, I would definitely like to hear it from you in the comments below. If you didn't, please tell me, because I want to make the best content for you guys. And with that, I'm Atlas, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!